it can be a bit of a challenge at times to sort of manage the workload in here. And as I've said before, and what we're trying to do this week, and I'm stood here on Thursday morning, and I'm actually a bit annoyed that we're not in a position to be as efficient as we should be. Okay, welcome back, episode 65, and this week I've lost it in the workshop. I'm not putting up with this any longer.
Tuesday morning, bank holiday Monday was yesterday, so a little bit less content possibly this week. Coming through here where we left off with the site bank, so Steve is cracking on again with this. It's looking really good, to be fair. There's a few more panels still go on. You can see it being welded inside and outside, so what you can see here is a lot of the burn marks are as welded, so there is a lot of weld in there. And then obviously this will be lined with concrete, so it is going to be very, very secure. It's probably a little bit echoey if I stand in there, so I won't go in there. Yeah, this starts to look well, starts to look pretty good. Lifting points, Steve is starting to tack in place, so you can see them over there and over there. I think, yeah, next step is a few more panels, probably the vents. So there's some air vents that go up on the top corner, sort of around the back, or the back as we're stood here now. And then a lot more welding to do. So I'll take you over this way. Rob is currently fabricating a E21C frame. So this is the one going to Plantworx. And I will let Rob explain a little bit more. So we fabricated the two halves on the jig as you would have seen previously, and then now is the time where we put the base and the joiner plates on. So yeah, I'll let Rob talk you through how he does it.
Yeah, right, so as I actually explained, what I've started with doing, I don't know why I paused there, I was going to say something else. What I started with doing, I've clamped this side, I clamped this made up side to a trestle, got it roughly level, put the bottom pieces in to give me something to work this to. And then I lifted this in, tacked it in, put the cross beams in, and now I've just got to square the frame, which will involve a ratchet strap just pulling it close to. Yeah, so I'll get that done. So what me and Archie are doing at the moment is we're squaring the frame. We've got a ratchet strap across the side that's long, so the diagonal that's longer. So what we need to do is pull that in and reduce the gap so the frame is square, or as close to square as we can get it. So currently, this measurement is 2530, and the measurement across the other way is 2560. So it's 30mm out of square, so 15mm each way. So what I need to do is release the tacks in opposite corners, so it gives it the chance to pull, and that will reduce the gap and bring it down to 2545, and then it should be square. Then I can tack it, weld it, job's a good one.
So we've got 4 members of the team out on site today. We've got Jamie and Connor out at one site, which we will be attending today, tomorrow, and possibly Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday. And then we've got Ashley and George on site in Manchester. So they are hopefully finishing off the Manchester project today. There's grease lines and some clamping strip, or side skirt, some side skirts to go underneath the clamping strip just to finish off. And hopefully that should be them done. So you can see here where Ashley finished off with on Friday. So he did a lot of the folding for the E21C's conveyors, screen. Very noisy food van, sorry for that. So you finish off with the E21C conveyor and screen boxes, and then all the framework stuff was done I think already. So I think there's a couple little bits that I just need to sort out because he's on site today obviously, and today and tomorrow he's off on holiday to Zante. So I've got this to finish off at some point today after I finish off the site bank from Stuart, who is also on holiday today. But yeah, that is about it. Colin is doing quite a bit of machining as well at the minute for the Cayman Island trommel. So all the shafts and stuff we're trying to get machined as soon as, to send them off to get lagged, just so we don't have any issues with delays.
So it got to the point where I was walking around and seeing the same stuff for week after week. For instance, these boxes here, they were from the trommel wheels about a month ago, and they've been there for a month. We've got some wood there for some racking to go in the stores, and that's been there for however long. And it just feels as though, because we've been that busy, it's not anybody's fault, but because we've been that busy, stuff just gets left. And it's a bit like broken windows. If you walk around somewhere and there's a broken window, you go, it doesn't matter anymore. That's broken, so it doesn't matter if that door's left open or the paint's faded. So you've got to keep the standards high. And also, when you look at things about in the workshop, if you want to do something in a workshop to be most efficient, you need a nice tidy workshop. You need to know where stuff is so you can go and get stuff, nothing's in your way, you're not standing on top of stuff to actually work. You've got a nice clean work area, and that's when you can do your best work. So that's why I've lost it this morning, because I felt as though we weren't keeping on top of these things, and we've now stopped everything. I've said to Archie and Steve, I said, just stop everything and let's just have a tidy up. And we're going to use this opportunity to fit out the new stores, get everything that's in the workshop in the old stores, get it in the new stores, and let's just start again, because we are between big projects. We've just finished the Manchester project, we've got Cayman Island trommels, we've got a new job starting, which I'll explain to you in a bit, starting up in Scotland. So we're between big jobs, so we can use the opportunity to have a bloody good tidy up.
This is our new stores room. This will be our new stores room, I should say. There is a lot of random stuff in here at the minute. So we've got some sort of racking protection, sort of mesh over there. We've got some racking that we need to build up, some cable trays come back from the Manchester project, some cross cabinets and some lockers, and a lot of just rubbish, to be honest. So the plan now, Gav's come out and spoke to me and Steve, tools down. Myself and Rob are going to be clearing out this workshop at the minute. Steve and Colin will be clearing out the current stores. This should save us loads of time going forwards. So yeah, we'll get some pictures of where this is at, where the current stores is at. That'll be the machine shop after we're done. So yeah, big transformation. Let's get it done.
Now, somebody in the comments mentioned this. This has been in the backdrop for a few weeks now, and this job's been picked up, put down. Customer didn't want it doing this way, didn't want it doing that way, different things. It's dragged on and on and on. So we're actually cracking on with it now, and hopefully we can get this out in the workshop soon. We haven't shown a lot of this on the channel because this isn't the sort of work that we tend to do. There's a bit of a legacy to this. We've done work for this customer for some time. They've asked us to do it. It's very difficult to say no to a customer when you've done work for them for a long time, but this isn't really our core business. If you come and look in here, Adam, that you can sort of see what we've done. So this came in as like a Luton van really, and we've kitted it all out inside. We've done the benches inside. We've cut the hole in the side. We've lined it all out with stainless inside. We've fitted up the extraction there. There's some fans on the outside, and we've made this. We've got chip fryers and burger grills and all sorts, and some fridges at the far end. They were obviously bought in, and then we've put a door in the back, aluminium frame in here. Weight on this is a big thing. You can imagine we're adding weight by doing what we've done, and then you're going to start putting food in it and gas bottles and chip fat oil and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit, it's going to be close to its maximum payload on this, which is why all of this is aluminium that we've done here. So we're just waiting, I think the gas fitters have been in. We're just waiting for the electricians to come in and wire it all up. But but you just get a bit of a flavour. People have asked about this, so that's why I'm showing you it, but it's not normally what we would do as part of our core business. Now, I was driving through town at the weekend, pulled up at some traffic lights, and a friend that I've not seen for a few years, I've known him for probably best part of 30 years, but I haven't seen him for a little while, pulled up in the traffic lights next to me. We wound our windows down and we're having a chat. And one of the first things he says was, "I'm a follower of yours, so Adrian, this is relating to you. You know who you are." And it got me thinking, because he is probably one of the hardest working people I know. He will work 24/7. And it got me thinking that nowadays, have people got the same work ethic as we had? Now, I am in my mid-40s, okay? Now, when I left school, it was fairly normal for people to work Monday to Friday, possibly a Saturday morning. Sometimes you'd do an all day on Saturday. And people live to work. Nowadays, it feels different. Not many people want to work a Saturday. A lot of companies that you used to go and get stuff on a Saturday morning no longer are open on a Saturday morning. The world seems to have changed. We don't seem to have the same work ethic as we used to. Now, is that a good thing? Have we got a better work-life balance now than we used to have? Leave your thoughts in the comments and tell me what you think. Have we got a better work ethic now than we used to have, or having a better work-life balance? Or are we all lazy now compared to what we used to be? Let me know what you think.
So, currently outside the stores. So, we've currently got out the front here all of the pallets, or most of the pallets I should say, of what was in the stores. So we have a lot of random stuff, a lot of stuff you wouldn't expect from a fabrication workshop, a lot of stuff you would expect. So we've got pallet banding, we've got some cement bags, we've got some polystyrene balls, we've got all sorts of workshop fluids, hydraulic oil, engine oil, that sort of stuff. Anvil over there, some electric cable from the Manchester project. We've got a lot of random stuff. So our mission going forward is to organise the stores, which is coming along nicely in here. So temporarily there were pallets just on the floor there full of tools and parts. So we've got all of this racking, apart from the wooden racking and that racking over there, the orange and sort of dark blue one, new to us. That's come in recently, so we are now in the process of setting this up. It's mostly there, to be honest, in terms of where we want most of the actual racking itself. The plan now is to bolt these together, bolt them to the wall and floor, however we seem fit, and then we're going to put a mesh cage essentially along the back of these to prevent people from poking or pushing them, or delivery drivers wandering past and sort of just grabbing in, because we get a lot of people turn up here and we don't always know who they are. We'd have a lot of regular drivers that know most of us by name and we know them by name, but we don't want to run the risk of having stock go missing and have no explanation. So obviously there are cameras in here as well, so all of our expensive stock is going to be covered by the cameras. It always has been in the other stores room as well, but there's two in here, one at the front, one at the back. Yeah, we are getting there now. I think the plan, myself and Rob are going to carry on starting to put stuff on the shelves and then sort of reorganising it from there. Steve and Colin are going to finish off in the what we call the current stores, and then they're going to come and put the mesh on the back of the racking there. So I'll show you the space that Colin and Steve have cleared out. So this is what was the current stores, will now be the machine shops. It's quite echoing here, to be honest. So the plan in time is to have the mill and the lathe in here, have a workbench, we'll have the bench grinder, probably the belt sander, and then vice and anvil and stuff in here. Yeah, there's a lot of space in here. This has always been the farm workshop previously, when this was all sort of farm buildings. So yeah, a lot of change. Still in progress, we're getting there with this. This is going to be the goods in counter. So the plan is that we'll have pallets going through this little sort of opening here. Goods in can sort of be on here, so it's small on purpose. We don't want stuff building up here over multiple days. We want it to be in here and then straight onto the rack in. So if it does fill up, you're forced to put it straight on the rack in. Yeah, the plan is we're getting all the parts in sort of loosely, jumbled up a little bit, in roughly where they want to go, and then we're going to tidy them up and organise them, label them up afterwards. And then Gav's plan is to get QR codes on all of these so that we can scan them in and out on our phones, which will be good. So yeah, everything's going in and then organising afterwards.
It's been an interesting year sales-wise this year. Obviously we've had the Manchester project going on, quite a big project. So that's sort of occupied a lot of capacity in the workshop. But now that's come to the end, we're obviously now looking for the next projects to go on to. We've got the Cayman Island trommel to do. We've got the wash bath to do for Scotland. But there's also another new order coming this week, which I will let Andrea tell you more about. But it's interesting, the sales process is interesting. The guy that has ordered the machine this week, he literally came and see us 2 weeks ago, and bish bash bosh, he's placed the order within a couple of weeks. Some of the stuff goes on for months. Some of the stuff goes on for years. We've actually got work that we're completing or just coming to an end now, which was spoke about in, was it the 2022 or 2023? So from us as a business, we've got quite a lot of enquiries out there. There's no guarantees when any of it's going to drop. Sometimes you get a bit of a feeling of when, how much of a rush the customer's in. Some of the stuff that we're looking at now, we know is not going to happen until next year. So it's interesting from a sales process. You can either have some of the stuff that is literally, so we've done deals on big machines that are literally within 24 hours. We didn't know about it one day, and by the end of the next day, it's done, ordered, and we're cracking on with it. So it can be a bit of a challenge at times to sort of manage the workload in here. And as I've said before, and what we're trying to do this week, and I'm stood here on Thursday morning, and I'm actually a bit annoyed that we're not in a position to be as efficient as we should be, even though we've had a couple of days. I know it's been a little bit essential to sort the stores out and everything else and that, but we're not being productive, and that annoys me, if I'm honest. But to actually balance the capacity of the workshop to the orders can be a bit tricky at times, and it's something that as a business is a constant hassle. You want to get the orders in, but you know that once the orders are in, you need the capacity in the workshop, and then you get the natural peaks and troughs in the workload, because some of these jobs are hundreds if not thousands of hours of work. So one month you need 20 people, and the next month you want 10 people, depending on the demands of the work. It's a bit of a conundrum that over the years I've not actually got my head around what the true answer is. Now, you've probably heard me mention more than once, and I think Andrea has mentioned it as well, end of September. So when you see this, it's within a matter of weeks. There's a show at Newark called Plantworx. It's every other year. You've got Hillhead one year and then Plantworx the next. There's a show every year, but they alternate every year, if that makes sense. Well, this year it's Plantworx, and we're having a stand. We're in the sort of demo area down near EngCon and Steel Wrist and all that sort of thing. Is it Hyundai's opposite us as well? So we're down there with a stand. We're going to have that site bank there will be finished and on the stand, and also either the E21C that's in stock or another one that probably might be built by then, I'm not sure, that will be on the stand as well. We'll all be there. Me and Andrea will be there on the Tuesday. We're not there on, is it the Tuesday the first day? Anyway, whatever the first day is, we're there on that day, but we're not there the rest of the week. Georgina, George, Archie, Alicia, they'll be there on other days, but we're only there on the first day. But also on the first day, and I think there's a lot of other YouTubers coming as well. You've got D&J Dave, Chris Everytrade, Professional Struggler, Danes Low, Baxenden Car Breakers, Baz, World of Fabber. I think the first day is going to be the day that a lot of them are going to be there. So if you want to see them, or me, or anybody else in the team, Archie, come and see us whilst at the stand. Now, obviously there's a lot of work that goes into the stand. It's not just book the stand, turn up and show the machines. We've got to get some banners done and some flags, because the shows that we've done in the past have all been indoors. This is now going to be outdoors, so the backdrop that you normally see behind me when we're in the meeting room in the top office, that's not suitable for this show, so we've had to have some flags done and some banners done. We're also having some brochures printed. Now this has blown my mind, and I've been told this by 2 different people in the office now, so it's right, but I still don't believe it. 500 A5 booklets, glossy, printed, stapled, 16 pages A5, 121 quid for 500. That seems ridiculously cheap. I don't even think you could buy the paper for that, let alone print it and fold it and put them together. So yeah, that's totally blown my mind this morning, that is, to the point where it's like, well, we'll just have 1,000 then, because they're that cheap. We'll have 1,000 of them. So there's a lot that goes into this show. I'm sure Andrea in her company update will update you more about what's going on as far as that's concerned. But it is in September. It's coming up. Adam will put the Plantworx logo up here. There's a date on it. And if you're interested in coming, we'll see you there.
So, on this board here, next to our tool station screw fix style counter, this used to be where we used to order our parts from. So anything we needed, we'd put what we wanted and our initials next to it, and often put the date so you know when you asked for it. And then when it got ordered, it would get a tick next to it. We're not using that anymore. We've outgrown that massively. We are now, I don't know if Gav's mentioned this, we're going to be going to a QR code style system. So every single item in here that we use regularly, so similar to the stock stuff at the back, so hydraulic fittings, it's not worth our time to count them. We very rarely do it. We're not going to bother for that. All of our regularly used items, we are going to be QR coding, naming, and then putting a code next to, so that when it comes to picking for a job, you know that that part is in this section, it's on this rack, on this shelf, it's just there, and it's got minimum order quantities. That is the system we're going to go for. So we've started stocking up all of the nuts and bolts. So we're going to have the, what I call M-Tiny, so your M4s, 5s, 6s, 8s, wood screws, pop rivets, riv nuts, all of that sort of stuff is going to be on these shelves here. Coming over here, we can have all M10, all M12, all M16. This is a bit of a mess at the minute. We've just put it on here and then we're going to re-tidy and organise afterwards. So if you know that you want an M10 bolt, you know you need to come to the M10 section, and it's going to be from bottom left, on the bottom shelf, from left to right, smallest to largest in terms of the length of them. And then every single bit of this racking, the lock nuts will be in the same site, same area. So the M10, 12, 16, the lock nuts will all be in, for example, the top left or the top right. So that way, when someone comes in, they're not having to think too much. They know, it's just muscle memory, lock nuts there. They can go check it out. So that is what we're in the process of doing. The priorities are currently back in the workshop for carrying on with production. So Steve is back on the site bank. Colin is cutting for the Cayman Island trommel. And Rob is fabricating the E21C. Old storeroom now. This will be the machine shop. This will be the machine shop going forward. So the plan is a little bit echo in here as well. Plan is to have lathe, mill, which are all next door, a bench in the middle with a vise, bench grinder, all that sort of stuff in here, central place for Colin, right next to where he runs Cutavar, so he can leave the CNC Cutavar cutting and literally be peeking around the corner to see if it's okay, rather than through another workshop. So this is all blank canvas now. Yeah, not far off with this as well. Reason we are stopping now is that we believe there will be a gap in production next week for some of our operatives. So with the painting and assembly side of things, there won't be as much work as normal. So that gives Stuart a bit more time to carry on, and we can put our priorities back in the workshop, cracking on with these projects here. So you can see Steve is getting more panels on now. We've got the door locking strip on now, so that's that's fully welded in place, to be fair now. So door locking strip is on place, the back locking strip I should say. There's plenty of stuff to still go on with this. It's not far off now though, actual panel work wise, so that's looking good. And then I'll take you over here. We've had a bit of a clear up in here as well, so the plan is to have essentially cleared all the racking from this. So there used to be motors and bits of rubber and all sorts of rubbish on here that we didn't actually need in the workshop. So now Steve can put his parts on this racking, so it's out of the way of his bay. He's got more space to weld, more space to fabricate, and we're not getting all the motors covered in grinding dust, which is never going to be beneficial. So coming over here, we've got Rob, who is currently putting on the conveyor. What would you call these, Rob? The conveyor tracks, maybe the conveyor runners on the E21C frame. So this is what the conveyor sits in essentially. Do you want a hand? Do you want me to hold it? Oh, he's got it. Do you want to explain anything? No, not a lot to explain really. There are sort of 2 posts on each of these beams. So you've got one here, one over there, and then same at the back, and they set the angle of the conveyor. So if for whatever reason you want to change the angle, it is as simple as us changing the angle on that box section and the height of them to then extend it a higher or a greater or smaller angle. Don't know what else there is on this frame really. That's pretty much it. There's front panel to go on, the runners, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that is looking good. Tell you what, I'll show you something else. So, George may or may not be out there. Are you here, George? Yeah. Do you want to explain what you've done? Yeah, go on then. So, if you can let the camera know what you've done and why you've done it in the van.
I've labelled all along here, as you can see, just along here, say where everything goes and where everything should go after people have used it. Fire extinguisher, health and safety, keep it there, make sure it's always there. Oh. Got a ladder, it's all labelled, got all your grinding discs labelled, all your lifting gear labelled, everything's labelled, so everyone knows where everything should be. Here you've got all your machines away, just so they don't slip, no fall in, no nothing. All your spare bolts, all your clamps, a bit more lifting gear, it's all been labelled. Everything's in their right place and everything's where they should be. Archie? A little bit cramped for you, isn't it, George?
Yeah, it's a bit cramped actually.
How tall are you?
There you go, Archie.
How tall are you?
6'4", 6'5".
6'4" George is not liking this van, I don't think. But this is what we want. So George and Ashley came back from site last night, and this morning the van was a tip. Not their fault, it's just been getting worse and worse over time with how busy we've been. Not an excuse, it's still not great, but this is a bit of time that we've put aside for George to improve the van. So going forwards, people shouldn't have an excuse for why the tools aren't where they are. It's clearly labelled. So for instance, a very quick way of demonstrating it, when we opened up the van this morning, that ladder was just laying across the floor because no one knew that the reason that the hook that Jamie put on the side was for the ladder. No one knew that. So anyone coming into this van now knows that is the hook for the ladder. If you don't see it there at the start of the day, you at least know to put it there at the end of the day. So it's little improvements like that that make working on site a lot more efficient, a lot safer and a lot faster, because no one wants to be on site at 11 o'clock at night having to finish off a job. If you can get that done a few hours earlier by making the workspace a lot more efficient, it's great.
So Gavin, I think, has already mentioned we've just had a new order in, so really pleased. Georgina is on holiday at the moment and I'm just picking up some of the loose ends of the inquiries, and a customer has just confirmed a Raptor 3012 build with us, so really excited. The team are buzzing. It's one of our standard Raptors, so it's a nice machine to make. They can do that in their sleep practically, so yeah, that fits into our schedule, and that customer will be getting that. I think we're scheduled for end of October for that. So yeah, what we do is we fit into the customer's timeline and the workshop's timeline to make sure that we can do everything that they need in this right schedule for us as well. So yeah, get in touch if you want any trommels or deck screens making, because we have still got capacity for the end of the year.
So this week's fun fact is not planes, trains, or car related? So Adam's gone for the Blackpool Tower this week. So 1894. That doesn't sound that old to me. You'd think that'd be really old. But anyway, Blackpool Tower apparently was inspired by the Eiffel Tower, obviously in Paris, in France. And there was a brick building at the bottom that had got a grand ballroom and a circus arena, a brick building at the bottom, and then they put the steel framework that was supposed to look a little bit like the Eiffel Tower around the outside. Like I say, done in 1894, and the Victorian Engineering Challenge was ahead of its time, apparently, according to Adam's fun fact. No idea what that means. Okay, so that's it for this week. Now, did you spot the special episode that came out a few days ago? We had a visit to GYS Welders. We did a special video, came out a few days ago. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all the usual stuff. Leave your comments, and we'll see you next week.
A little bit windy, it's a little bit bright in my eyes now.
Welder fabber, professional struggler. Hello, Tiger.
How are you?
All right, mate. You?